one of our biggest tragedies since 1994, where so many people really died and they shouldn't have died.
I was scared myself. I was scared because of the looting. I was scared because of the state's response to the looting. And I was hoping that at the very least, the government would scale back on the violence.
Over the past days, residents have been on a looting spree in parts of Johannesburg as the Free Zuma protests intensified.
Reporting live from Edendale Mall, the place is now on fire. The looting is done.
Salon, dokotela nobela, la bekuyi-hardware, la bekuyi-Tseliso electronics bani, bese kuthi lapha beku-Dubs. Uma uqhubeka-ke u-Shoprite lapha phambili. Ngathi mangabe ngibuka because ngangibuka i-TV, ngamlalela upresident.
Let us be clear, as a nation, that we will not tolerate any acts of criminality. We will not tolerate any acts of vandalism. Those who are involved in acts of violence will be arrested and prosecuted.
Ukuthi aqede nje, hayi ngawuza umsindo kuhlokoma yonke indawo. Ngavele ngacima ifoni yami, ngazivalela ekamereni because I knew ukuthi obvious eDube village kushuthi nakhona ziyakhala. I was also angry ukuthi abantu ade sibasiza kangaka bangenza into kanje babe ngasafuna ukushiya lutho because even on Wednesday ngikhona babe sabhiza abanye lapha ngosilingi beqonqotha babefuna ukuthi nje ngasali lutho kahle kahle but ke siyabonga ukuthi labo abafika bazoklina benza ukuthi isimo sethu kwehla kancane.
On that night, I did not sleep. Honestly, I did not sleep, fearing for children who are missing at that point. Children who just cannot be allocated where they are because of the chaos and everything that is going on. There were a lot of voice notes circulating, but the one that we heard, it was in Zulu, say, "Siyalandela nge-Middlelands," meaning we are coming for Middlelands. And at that point, I was terrified.
Azukulahlekela umntwana sasemncane man. Lo mntwana phela bayikho into phela bekangakashadi yazi usasumntwana ngingakambali uthi angakushiya mina empilweni. I was standing here outside the street with my resident. We are talking about this thing. So you see now the government, what happening now. Why didn't stop this thing from the beginning? Oh, it's just came somebody, his friends or what, I don't understand. He told me, that day, man, he told me, wait, say, Malum, say, what's happening? Your nephew passed away. My nephew is passed away. I repeated maybe 3 times. Ask him, at what? I say, Silo is passed away, I don't believe. I was with Silo, now, yeah. Silo is passed away, I can go with you now. Since you go by yokuthola abantu ngathi azibe babaduma or yini sesiyabajampa manje mawuqala uapproacha i-Shoprite uqala ujampa abantu yena le phakathi le ngihamba ngijampa abantu ngoba bambonile la phelele khona bafike bangipointa abantu nangu-ke wakho and ngiyambona nangeimpahla uthini sure ubrother wami ke lona hayi angiphathanga kahle mina hayi bekabuthetha ukubuya emsebenzini inkinga ibe kuphi mhlambe besekahlangane nabangani ngoba manje wonke umuntu bekaphuma la mama akukho umuntu bekathi uzosenza ngcono ngomuntu wonke umuntu bekaphuma la ayiphandela bathini ukudla makuphelile bazi ukuthi banekudla abantu lana bafuna umsholozi ngaphandle.
I see three elements really behind much of the killings. One, which is really painful for me, was the racial killings in Phoenix and Pietermaritzburg, where either due to defending one's property or life, but there's also strong elements of racism there. I mean, much of those things were indiscriminate killings of people, black people just being killed on site, and we need to address this, because if we don't, this is going to haunt this country for a long time, as far as racial relationships between African and Indian communities are concerned.
Did it make sense to put these people into the criminal justice system? Many of them were youth. I think in the watching brief that we did, I think more than 60% of the people that were arrested were young people. People were between the ages of 18 and 35. And for some of them, because of the looting, they now have criminal records. Put together a team of people who would go to courts and look at what had happened to those looters. Had they been released on bail, what happened? There are people who were identified as low-level looters, who were people who were just simply poor and who saw an opportunity to protect themselves and be able to feed themselves. But they were dealt with ruthlessly by the criminal justice system. We saw this is what is possible if we don't address inequality, if we don't address unemployment, if we don't address poverty. The fact that the National Intelligence Coordinating Committee had been receiving reports to say the country is heading for instability because the conditions that we're in cannot be sustained. That happened before July 2021. We had the unrest, so we actually got to see the monster. What can we say government has done seriously to address the conditions that make the unrest possible? Very little, very little.
Having warned that the anger of the poor can go in many directions, we've seen this coming. It didn't come as a shock to us as Abahlali baseMjondolo. We knew that South Africans were no longer going to tolerate the inability to find jobs, the inability to live, the inability to provide food for their families. So when July riots came, obviously it hit the poor of the poorest the hardest, unless the government takes seriously the fact that people have spoken. I mean, the violence itself, it's the language that ordinary people, the working class people use to express their anger, their frustration, and their discomfort towards government, but also towards the economy. So if government is not learning anything from this, so we are likely to see another situation that is similar.
We have still yet to see people being brought to book. Those who were responsible for the killings should really be arrested and be prosecuted. and maybe then we can start the healing process. It will be quite difficult, to heal that process when the killers are still out there and not, facing the book.
The bad that has happened in our location, the low to it is that we haven't, as a community, sat down and talked about it, formally, so except for when you are with somebody, 2 of you or 3 of you talking about it. But we haven't, as a community, including those that have died during that situation, called all of us in one area to talk about the situation that has happened and how best we can prevent it from happening.
The significance of us going to Phoenix is a very important one. For the mere fact that they were killing people and throwing them there. For us going back, visiting that space, is to show them that they've not defeated us and our spirits is not broken. We might be powerless, but the symbolism, it will stick with them and they can't run away from that symbolism that we are here to visit our brothers and sisters who were killed for not doing anything. It is a powerful symbolism.
No,